Hey, what is up, everybody out there on YouTube? My name is Ghost837 on PS3, or if you want to refer me as History King 837. Today is Saturday the 30th, and a day before the season finale of The Walking Dead. Can't wait for that, though. So how y'all doing today? Again, I'm sorry for the sucky quality of the video, of my previous videos. Just like I said, I'm using a pretty, I guess, not a crappy camera, but, yeah, crappy camera. But anyways, I hope you enjoy. So, today, of course, playing some Assassin's Creed 3 with my man, the one, the only, Connor. And what am I going to talk about today? Well, if you saw my previous video, I was talking about Good Friday. I'm not talking about that again, but Good Friday is a good thing to talk about. But I'm actually going to be talking about the colonial period. Yes, I'm going to be talking about Washington. Natives of this period. So anyways, I hope you enjoy, actually. So, as we all know, actually, the colonial period was a time of great tension. It was, times between the British and the French and a Revolutionary War. It was times of pretty hard things. Oh yeah, one thing I just want to point out. This sword right here, even though they call it Washington's sort of a replica, it's actually referred to as the Kolashmard. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyways, yeah. So as we all know, the colonial period was a time of hardship. It was a time with I can't even describe it. Disease, war. That was a hard time actually. But we were able to push through and strive, and because when you think about it, let's look back at the Revolutionary War. Let's look at something horrible during the Revolutionary War. How about Valley Forge in Pennsylvania when Washington was there in 1777? That was a disastrous time for the Continental Army, because as they were enduring the cold in Pennsylvania and Valley Forge, it was terrible. Supplies were running out, food, ammunition. People were deserting, or people were actually betraying George Washington and his fellow men at Valley Forge, basically. And that was a pretty hard time, actually. But the Revolutionary War over time... Rusty! Sorry about that. I was whistling out to the dog. But, yeah, anyways, where would we be, actually, without the Revolutionary War, us Americans? Sure, we could have had maybe any other revolution happening, but if it wasn't for Washington... Hold on. Hey, you! No, we don't do that. Sorry about that, guys. My dog was chewing on a mitten. Well, But yeah, anyways, where would we be without these great men like Franklin and Washington? These men were both Freemasons, yes, but these men were also leaders, and Benjamin Franklin led militia companies in Pennsylvania. The best way for George Washington to win the war, sometimes without using his Continental Army, was using up a small company militias in all throughout the colonies. And basically his tactics were actually very superb, and his hybrid warfare was astounding, using all sorts of having his militia companies and warriors all alike, using different weapons with muskets and rifles. That was one of the main reasons on why we won that war, with hybrid warfare. But a lot of us, we wouldn't also be here without, we wouldn't also be here without, French assistance, because actually the French, they were a major key part in the war, because during the early parts of the war, we were actually running low on supplies, and we needed any form of supply we can get from any other countries that could supply us. So we actually turned to France, of course, because that was their long-term ally. Ally. Look at me. listen to me. They were their long-term enemy, and I mean, if it wasn't for the French, then we probably wouldn't be here. Well, if it wasn't also for the French, you know, I mean, Washington, for his, you know, factor, he used logistics. Oh, my bad. He used all form of logistics, actually, in warfare. He pretty much scrounged and got anything from the British, and over time, actually, tables would turn, and Washington would have one of the most elite fighting forces in the world. So, oh yeah, if you're ever wondering, if you're ever in, you know, school right now, and you're wondering actually on how we won the war, this is how we won the war. Lord Cornwallis of the British, actually, during 1781, he thought actually that if he could, you know, the British pretty much lost every colony, almost, but they had small encampments of, you know, British soldiers, and the British thought if they could actually take hold or take command of the southern colonies, they could actually reestablish a form of government and take back the colonies for them. But here's the thing, Washington and the French were prepared for this. And Lord Cornwallis was, you know, actually having the supply trains of his destroyed by Washington and the French. So the next move, actually, that the French and the Americans, what we did was, as we kept pushing them back and, you know, destroying their supply lines and whatnot, a major move we did actually was, you know, he likes to go out to the sea, Lord Cornwallis, and when he actually went out to the sea, actually, we were able to take him and his, not him and his navy out, but when he pulled into Yorktown, Virginia, we all thought, hey, if he's doing this as a way of, you know, we could trap him, basically. That's what Washington and the French were thinking. So, in a way of an act of generalship, and a great way of tactics, George Washington had hit the British of Lord Cornwallis from the front, and the French pretty much cut off Chesapeake Bay, and this was pretty much a turning point for us. Well, not a turning. Well, it wasn't a turning point, but it was a great strategic move by the French and General Washington. And pretty much, I mean, we kept pounding them day after day after day, of, you know, pretty much attacking them day after day with our supplies, with our cannons, with our muskets. And when we were actually doing our final charge in them, the thing we most commonly used in that situation was hand-to-hand combat in the mud and through, you know, dirt. I mean, hell, anything really, within the mud of hand-to-hand combat, whether it be fist, saber, or musket, or rifle. And it was pretty deadly. And after that, I mean, 2 years later, you know, the British would surrender in Paris, France, known mostly as the Treaty of Paris between the Spanish, the French, the Americans, and the British. I believe another country joined up. It wasn't Amsterdam. It wasn't bad. I think it was the Netherlands? Nah. It'll come to mind later on, but, you know, that was known as the Treaty of Paris, and we pretty much made hell for the British. So, guys, I mean, videos, you know what? I still got time. So, anyways, actually, also, if you're wondering what logistics is, basically, logistics is the form of, basically, doing whatever you can in the form of gathering supplies and, you know, basically the basics of military scrounging. And the military, actually, any form of military, it can be used, actually, to, you know, what I'm just basically trying to say is, Washington had the upper hand of logistics when fighting the British. The British, sure, they had more supplies and they had a bigger army, and they had some of the most elite fighting men in the world, but they didn't have great generals. Like, well, they did actually have great generals like Washington, but it was Washington's greatest leadership that led us through that hard fighting. So, final thing before I end the video, guys. You know, pretty much actually, you know, if you're an American watching this video, I mean, or a Frenchman, take great pride in your heritage, take great pride in your nationality, never, you know, underestimate it, or not underestimate it, but never, you know, make fun of it. Like, embrace it. If you're American, embrace the Americanism. If you're French, embrace, you know, Frenchism. I don't know why I said those two things, but I just did. So pretty much, guys, the video is gonna come to a close here once I'm done fighting these Patriots. Just like I said, Washington's sword was called the Polish Mard. Stab, stab, and stab to the skull. So, you know, I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.